welcome back to CVM TV's General Election 2025 debate discussion. I'm Giovanni Dennis, and we're just throwing you over back to the debates. This is the social debates, and we'll be back at the end for our post discussion. So we're now heading over to CPTC for the first of the three national debates. Join us back at 10:30.
Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Tonight, we focus on social issues. Our moderator, Janella Precious.
Welcome to the first of three political debates organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission and staged before a live studio audience. The debates are intended to assist in identifying, clarifying, and understanding the issues being presented in this general election campaign. This evening's debate focuses on social issues and is a team debate. Members of the panel of questioners are Natalie Campbell, IRI FM, Romardo Lyons, TVJ, and taking and presenting questions from the public is our social media editor, Amoy Harriet, CVM TV. I am your moderator, Janella Precious. As is customary, the audience is prohibited from applauding the debaters except for now, after we've announced each team. For Team JLP, Matthew Samuda. You can clap. For Team PNP, Raymond Price. Up next is the JLP's Kamina Johnson-Smith. Also joining Team PNP is Sophia Fraser-Binns. And for the JLP, Pernell Charles Jr. And for Team PNP, Damian Crawford. The guidelines for tonight's debates have been previously agreed and are posted on the Debate Commission's website at www.jamaicadebatescommission.com. The guidelines include questions being no longer than 30 seconds and each team being allowed 90 seconds to respond to each question, and rebuttals are limited to 45 seconds. The questions posed in tonight's debate will come from two sources. The first, you, the public. You can send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. These will be checked, selected, and asked by our social media editor. The second source of questions is from our panel of journalists. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, there will be no interpretation for the deaf and hearing impaired. Now, based on a previous coin toss, the first question tonight comes from Natalie Campbell, and it will be directed to Team PNP.
Good evening. The People's National Party has been highly critical of several Jamaica Labour Party programs, including the rural school bus system. You say you have better options. Which programs have you earmarked for immediate discontinuation, and what timeline are you proposing of replacement programs to ensure continuity of service to Jamaicans?
Good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for that question. Productivity means that there is a balance between effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness means doing the right thing, and efficiency means doing the thing right. Indeed, the separation of students from adults and the organized contribution of carrying them to school is a wonderful concept. However, how the JLP intended to execute, I believe, is highly inefficient. First of all, the cost of buses for 300 million based on the information we have received, and then 800 million for the refurbishing of those buses would indicate an inefficient use of resources. Additionally, we have seen where new buses, Toyota buses, coaster buses that could have been used would have been a more appropriate purchase, and that would have been within the same cost. Additionally, the ineffectiveness of these bus system would suggest that very few children would be able to be moved. We have over 440 40,000 children to be moved, and at this point those buses will be best capable to move between 4,000 and 8,000 on each day, indicating that the vast majority of children will still not benefit from that program. And so one thing that will immediately discontinue is one that doesn't incorporate the principals, the guidance counselors, and be more targeted in ensuring that those who are finding it most difficult to get to school are able to get to school, in particular deep rural children.
Thank you so much. Team JLP, your rebuttal.
Thank you. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing what the PNP has not and cannot do. We want to keep our children safer, and we are using the savings, $1 billion savings from the JUTC, where we have cut theft of diesel and shifted to CNG, to buy 110 new buses at $1.4 billion for our children. The parents will save $180,000 per year annually per child, and the children will be safer, greater attendance, they'll be safer at school, cameras, wardens. Why not? It's best for the country.
Thank you very much. Romardo has the next question, and it will go to Team JLP.
Good evening. Despite the 2025 changes to NHD loan limits and the modifications so more minimum wage earners can qualify for grants, many youngsters have lost hope of one day owning a home. What will you do to ensure that in multiple offer situations for properties, youngsters aren't outbid by older Jamaicans with much more to offer?
Firstly, thank you for that question. The Jamaica Labour Party has ensured that we focus on our youth. On a general way, we have increased minimum wage, we have increased support for youth, we have specialized in terms of ensuring that our youth are particularly aligned in terms of delivering houses. There's a special allocation under the NHT, and while we increase loan limits and increase the income bands, we've ensured that there's greater access to housing for our youth and for all Jamaicans. Let's be clear. How we have managed the economy is exactly why we now have enough money to increase housing solutions to 34,000 houses and 60,000 more to come. Even the youth who you may define as within poverty lines are being taken care of through the social housing program, which we provided more than 300 and much more to come. For the Jamaica Labour Party administration, housing solutions, housing developments, and the total national development is based on the fact that we have not only been able to save more, but our focus is on increasing economic development completely as a country that has suffered wage freezes, suffered heavy taxes. For 8 years, we've had no new taxes. All of these things have impacted our youth positively. So the youth have more money in their pockets as we also increase the tax threshold. So the youth who are at the entry level are able to present more to the NHT.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Team PNP, your rebuttal.
It's hard to rebut someone who seems not to know what he was saying. So I'll go to the substantive response. The People's National Party manifesto makes it very clear. We have several programs that will make it easier for the average Jamaican, young people in particular, to own their own home. One of which is waiving the requirements for them to be able to pay the closing costs to the amount of $500,000 per person. We will also allow them through the rent-to-own program for those who do not have a payslip or work as barbers or tattoo artists to use their rent in a house built by the NHD. That rent will be converted to a mortgage, and their credit rating will be based on their propensity to continue paying.
Thank you so much. I think we can take a question from the social media. Amoy?
Thanks, Janella. Well, this social media question comes from the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET. They're asking, industrial pollution incidents like the repeated Rio Cobra fish kills continue without meaningful consequences for polluters. What measures will your government put in place to guarantee stronger deterrence?
No secret that as a country we have not been protecting the environment as we should. The People's National Party is committed to protecting the environment. We will ensure that the body that is charged with the protection of the environment does its work. And so we will have a second look at NEPA. We will make NEPA independent, and we will also create an independent tribunal for NEPA. Apart from that, the environment impact assessment is something that we must look at. The People's National Party is committed to ensuring that the requirement for environment impact assessment is legislated. For us in the People's National Party, we can't talk about the economic development. We cannot talk about community development unless there is the protection of the environment, and we are committed to doing that. We will do this by ensuring that communities are part of the decision-making process when it comes on to environmental issues, and that is why we are committed to signing the Escazú Agreement, which will ensure that there is access to information so people know about development or pollution in their area, that the community has an opportunity to speak and share their views, and certainly that there will be access to justice when environmental rights are breached. That is our commitment from the People's National Party, because time comes to protect the environment.
Thank you so much. Team JLP, your rebuttal.
The People's National Party has never been serious about environmental protection. In their last time at the wicket, they proposed a coal plant to generate electricity in St. Elizabeth. They proposed the development of the logistics hub in the Goat Islands, including saying only Too Little Lizard was over there by the former minister in charge. But beyond that, they have a leader who could not bring himself to vote for the plastic ban when the matter came to the Senate. They have never demonstrated environmental leadership. This government has. It is why at the last time there was a serious industrial incident in the Rio Cobre, this government drew down on a $117 million bond, the single largest consequence for environmental breach in the country's history. It is why this government also passed recent amendments to the NRCA Act that allowed body corporates to be charged upwards of $10 million at a judge's discretion. This government is serious about the environment. We have demonstrated so. We have demonstrated so internationally, and it is why we will continue to lead with new elements of the plastic ban, with amendments to the WLPA, with accession to the SPA protocol, and it is why we are recognized as an environmental leader globally.
So we're just getting started. It's now time for a short break, but there will be more when we return.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just give me me Kendall. Anytime of the day, night as well, just give me me Kendall. Everybody can tell taste good, great smell, just give me Kendall. Number one in flavor, no parallel, half about quality, you know we excel. Well, it's all K-E-N-D-E-L. Give me Kendall.
Another quality product from the CariMed Group.
Just give me Kendall.
At Flow, we understand your rhythm. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do. And our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
We love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are ARC Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
This is your reminder on how to mark your ballot. Easy and confidential. When you receive your ballot, take a moment to read it carefully. Mark your ballot clearly with an X beside the symbol of the candidate of your choice. Use only the pencil provided. Make sure it is visible. Once you're done, fold the ballot as instructed and return it to the presiding officer. Your vote is your voice. Make your mark, make it count.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or all inclusive?
Ask the experts.
If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. Promotion ends September 14. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker, much quicker. And you need to make sure. I'm the coach.
And I'm the assistant coach.
No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated. Matter of fact, where's the water?
I've got it, coach.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank for Every Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
And welcome back to the social issues debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. Now we invite Romardo Lyons to begin this segment with a question for Team PNP.
Last year, just a little over 1,000 councillors were employed within the public school system. In some cases, one councillor served up to 3 schools. That's one individual to thousands of students. Your 2025 manifesto promises a Jamaican education system that is globally competitive. How do you plan to fix the student-councillor ratio?
Thank you very much for the question. Indeed, it is our intention to ensure that we have an improved education system. The current reality is that it is moving in the wrong direction. In 2015, literacy in Jamaica was 84%. Currently, it's 65%. Indeed, in 2015, 5 subjects, including math and English, was 28%. Currently, it is 19%. In fact, to use mathematics, which the government has recently celebrated, after last year, the minister indicated that it was a critical problem. This year, with much hoopla and celebration, only 9 dege more children passed mathematics. And they said it was a great occurrence. The People's National Party will accept and acknowledge where we are, because in 2015, 14,000 Jamaican children passed mathematics, and in 2025, only 7,826 Jamaican children passed mathematics. This is a part of the malaise that is happening within the education system. What we will do in particular as it relates to guidance counseling is to incorporate and hire more guidance counselors, but also to form the Department of Socialization to utilize not only the guidance counselors, the deans of disciplines, and also the persons are most familiar with the children, which would be the form teachers. That will expand the number of adults to children ratio and have the guidance counselor be informed by those who are most related to the students.
Team JLP, your rebuttal.
The Jamaica Labour Party believes in our children, and it believes in their social well-being, their mental health, and their support to ensure that they will be their best selves and then become the best productive citizens of Jamaica. We certainly recognize that education is not where it needs to be, and that's why we commissioned the Education Transformation Commission, led by Orlando Patterson. We have set up a plan. We have 30% in. We know what's not measured does not get done. The PNP talks about transformation, but they have never transformed anything in this country. We will ensure under a trend program with more involved parents, more empowered teachers, more involved students.
Thank you so much, Ms.
That our students succeed.
Thank you so much. Our next question comes from Natalie, and it is for Team JLP.
As Jamaica seeks to harness the economic potential of large-scale entertainment events, what is your strategy to ensure that these opportunities are balanced with the fundamental rights of motorists and residents to freely move without undue disruption to their lives?
It's no secret that urban planning was lacking for the last 50 years. It's no secret that the heartbeat of Jamaica has been its cultural and entertainment industries. It's no secret that under the leadership of Olivia Babsy-Grange, Jamaica has grown from strength to strength in harnessing the power of these awesome industries. In the next term of government, the JLP will ensure that all urban planning for our town centres contemplates and plans for entertainment zones. We have also moved rapidly to ensure we have reserved space for 24-hour event zones. But that is but one part of the parcel. The next component also has to be how you encourage the human capital. But encouraging the human capital has to create the structures that allows young people to see a total future in it. It is why we're proud of the pension scheme that has been introduced for our entertainers, because our young people now know that there is indeed a future. But beyond that, we have structured our tax regimes in a manner that will encourage significant investment in the entertainment sector. We have created a space where those who wish to invest in movies, those who wish to invest in sound, will indeed come to Jamaica. We're not going to throw new funds that we know will indeed trigger new taxes, because that indeed has been the hallmark of the PNP, new taxes.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Team PNP, your rebuttal.
Yes, it is no doubt that the orange economy is called orange for a reason. The People's National Party has been central to the development of entertainment in this country. Indeed, the tools of trade was introduced by the People's National Party for the extension of benefits to the entertainment industry, so that they too could act as if the manufacturing, farming and other industries in the importation of their inputs. In addition, it seems that the taxes are not the only things that are being stolen by the Jamaica Labour Party, because the idea for the entertainment zone originated with the People's National Party. What is crazy is that the Jamaica Labour Party believes that the solution is in one single venue, and one single venue cannot solve a problem that exists throughout the entire country. We will ensure appropriate zones and community zones.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. And now, before we go to our social media, Natalie has indicated that she would like to use her first of 2 follow-up questions so that our viewers understand the process. Both questioners have the ability, or they can ask 2 follow-up questions, and both teams have 45 seconds within which to answer the question. Natalie, go ahead.
So I wanted to hear more about the balancing of how do you protect the motorists and the residents who have undue delays and been stuck in traffic for hours in the interim until those zones are designated up and running?
Well, obviously the zones are indeed the long-term strategy, but in the interim we'll bring all stakeholders together, being the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the municipalities and the promoters themselves, to ensure that there's adequate parking. we would have instituted many park and ride events for national events, which would have seen significant reductions in traffic. But just to note, the idea for the entertainment zone did not originate with the PNP, it actually originated with Edward Philip George Siaga. And it is this party that has had the strongest relationship with the cultural industries and has put its money by way of investment into these industries. But to be clear, the infrastructure that is required is being invested in by this administration in multiple venues.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuda. Thank you so much. Team PNP, your 45-second rebuttal.
This sounds like the same claim that Edward Siaga also was the originator for the idea of Portmore, and that too was a lie. However, what we have recognized is that we can separate the people from the events by partnering with agri-parks to have a section within agri-parks reserved for what we call party town, multi-zones, multi-venue zones that persons can gravitate to and know where entertainment activities are. What we have also recognized is the bias within the Jamaica Labour Party of how entertainment is treated, because large events such as Sumfest has never obeyed the Noise Abatement Act, but all the round robins must obey the Noise Abatement Act. We will ensure equity by allowing for an appropriate approval for extensions that persons can apply for, regardless if you're large or small.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. We now go to social media. Amoy has a question and she will direct it to the respective team.
All right, so to revisit the topic of education, Alpha Media on Instagram is asking, COVID-19 exposed deep gaps in digital access. What are your concrete plans to ensure every Jamaican student has access to reliable internet and digital devices?
And that question goes to Team PNP.
Thank you very much. It is important at this point that we expose what some of the ridiculous approaches have been from the Jamaica Labour Party. They indicate that they have been doing extensive investments in schools. However, with the schools in need of approximately 1,000 students, needing up to 210 megabytes, the highest capacity of those providers is 35 megabytes. Some of those contracts that have been given are incapable to reach even 15 megabytes so that they can officially and can appropriately be utilized. Indeed, having invested over $2 billion in e-books, the newspaper reported that many teachers indicated that the inability to access them in their classes made the e-books ineffective and inefficient. What the People's National Party will do, first of all, is to build out the last mile of fiber so that more persons in the rural spaces can access. Additionally, we understand the pairing of energy with the internet, and by extension, we will also build out the last mile for electricity access using solar implementation. We will use as a school multiplier, force multiplier, teacher multiplier, impact multiplier, the technology through AI, in particular for helping teachers with marking, helping teachers with the lesson planning, and also helping students to access information in appropriate and effective way. So the People's National Party will embrace technology in our schools and expand the reach so that our students can benefit.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. Team JLP, your 45-second rebuttal. I'm sorry, your 1 minute 30 rebuttal.
The PNP talks a good talk about technology in schools, but it is the Jamaica Labour Party, through its National Broadband Initiative, that has ensured that more than 700 schools are connected with broadband. And we've made sure that not only are our children at school connected, but we have rolled out more than 380 free public Wi-Fi hotspots that make sure that when children leave school, they're still able to be connected as our teachers. We've handed out more than 200,000 tablets. We've trained our teachers and given them vouchers for tablets and laptops in particular. We're providing digital equipment for classrooms. We're ensuring we've completed an audit of all our labs to ensure that they're provided for with the best technology in rural and urban. So from St. Thomas to Hanover, all our children must have access to the best technology, and location should not determine your education. The Jamaica Labour Party is uplifting education in every corner of Jamaica, and we're continuing to do what the PNP likes to talk about. We are also ensuring that we will provide I must speak to the matter of the creative villages that we will be providing 100 of them in our next administration, should the public trust us. We will also be training through our Creative and Cultural Institute, and we will be also providing for creative special economic zones that will create the next generation of jobs.
Thank you so much, Ms. Johnson-Smith. Our next question, it comes from Romardo, and it goes to Team PNP.
In 2022, the Jamaica Observer exposed the harsh exploitative conditions under which many call center workers work. If elected, what will you do to fix these issues that contradict labor laws in the BPO sector?
You know, the start of that question is an acknowledgement that the provision of modern access to technology, including the internet, including broadband, including fiber optics, began with the liberalization of the telecommunications sector when Philip Paulwell was a minister with responsibility. My opponents opposite seem to be having an issue putting the correct time frame to the responses. In other words, a seeming disconnect with reality. With respect to the BPO sector, one of the most recent industries facilitated by the technological advancement, there are serious concerns with respect to conditions of work, pay, time off, even sick leave, things that the Jamaican workplace has considered for many years to be a right. These BPO operators, the contractors, are not necessarily from the Jamaican space. So more integration has to be done so that they understand what our labor laws are and what the members of the Jamaican workforce have come to expect, including things such as maternity leave with pay and equal work for women. In the PNP administration led by Mark Golding, we will begin that education process, that integration process, and allow our partners in the BPO to understand the nuances.
Mr. Price. Thank you so much, Mr. Price. Team JLP, your 45-second rebuttal.
Thank you. The BPO sector, like the tourism sector, is offering a significant opportunity for many of our entry-level youngsters to have good jobs, jobs that will allow them to be able to get not just revenue but work experience. And it's important to know that the government not only sees the expansion in the BPO sector, but through the inspectorate at the Ministry of Labour, we ensure to speak to employers and employees and to monitor to make sure that where there are any abuses, we take the necessary steps immediately, whether it is to carry them to court or whether it is to bring to constructive social dialogue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Jr. We're moving on. Natalie has the next question, and it is to Team JLP.
Jamaicans seeking care at public hospitals continue to face long lines, shortage of medical staff, overcrowding with the difficulty getting a bed if admitted, and long waits for clinic appointments. What is it going to require to improve patient care at public hospitals and other healthcare facilities?
Let me say this. The government takes it very seriously in terms of improving the health infrastructure. We have upgraded 138 of our health centers. We have rebuilt and restructured key hospitals and are starting to construct the regional children and adolescent hospital. And most importantly, in addition to the health infrastructure development, we are and have created 3,000 positions for medical professionals with 1,000 community aids and 600 scholarships, which means not only better infrastructure for health, but better staffing of professionals who will be able to provide better service to the patients in Jamaica. We take this very seriously, and that is why under this government we have seen where not only the 138 health centers and the key hospitals, but expansion of NHF, the expansion of the hours and services, all of these providing a comprehensive delivery of service for the people of Jamaica.
It's important to remember that the Jamaica Labour Party inherited a health sector in absolute crisis, where their own opposition spokesperson said that surgeons had to be wearing garbage bags to operate.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kamina Johnson-Smith. PNP, your 45-second rebuttal.
If there's any evidence of the Jamaica Labour Party's failure, it is evident in the health system. Indeed, Cornwall Regional is an excellent example, having moved from $2 billion all the way to $22 billion and still not complete. Mammograms in our public sector is only 2 mammograms in our public sector. And the #1 hospitals in Jamaica, also including our Children's Hospital, does not have an MRI or a CT scan available. Indeed, the number of children that has died neonatals has gone up to 246 over the last 2 years.
You know, the better proof of it is the absence of the Minister of Health at a social issues debate where he should have answered to his appalling track record. He's now been there over the economic debates.
Thank you so much, Mr. Price. We take a question now from our social media editor, Amoy.
Thanks, Janella. Well, this question comes from Anita's Funeral Home. They're asking, funeral homes contribute significantly to Jamaica's economy, yet the industry remains largely under-regulated and under-supported. How do you plan to formalize the industry, ensure proper insurance options for families, and use the sector's contributions to expand opportunities such as national scholarships for Jamaicans?
Okay, just to explain to our viewers, both teams have equal times to respond to the social media questions. Team PNP, you go first.
The issue with the under-regulation of the funeral home sector first came to light during the advance of the COVID pandemic, when there was a lot of misinformation and a lack of information as to whether or not post-mortem there could be a transmission of the COVID virus. As a matter of fact, that process opened the potential, the possibility for any administration in office to have formalized and put in place structures and protocols that would have given ease to the professionals working in the industry and the family members of the deceased. What now needs to happen is for a recognition that this is a sector that is a critical part of the Jamaican social space, an adjunct, if you will, of public health. And the utter absence of any form of regulation, despite 9 years of unbroken representation by the Jamaica Labour Party as the head of government, is yet another indication of people who claim to know what they're doing, but still at the end of a 9th year, going into a 10th year, are having difficulties with a manifesto to explain not only what they've done in the past, but what they intend to do in the future. When PNP is in office, we can guarantee to the public that those regulations will be in place.
Okay, Team JLP, your response?
The issue with the lack of regulation in the funeral home sector came to public attention in 2014 when the funeral homes with contracts with the government for paupers' burials were not being paid. That is when the issue came to mind, or rather came to public attention. The reality is the sector is indeed lacking sufficient regulation. However, we have moved forward to bring the Ministry of National Security and indeed the Ministry of Health to form a working group to address this very issue. And there are many elements to it. One such element is the fact that the industry was operating without a proper public autopsy suite. This government, under Horace Chang's leadership at the Ministry of National Security, built the first public autopsy suite at a cost of $700 million, clearing one element that creates a significant backlog in this area. But lest we forget, the PNP has no credibility in the management of the health sector. Under Fenton Ferguson, every single Jamaican watching this debate tonight suffered the effects of Chick V. We suffered the effects of his failure to deal with vector management. Lest we forget that the then leader of the JMDA, your current spokesperson of the ministry related to health, said it was the worst management he had seen. He said doctors were using garbage bags. So people died because of the PNP's failure. Lest we forget.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuda. It's now time for another break, but we will have more when we return.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just gimme me candle. Anytime of the day, night as well, just gimme me candle. Everybody can tell taste good, great smell, just gimme me candle. Number one in flavor, no parallel. Talk about quality, you know we excel. When it's out, K-E-N-D-E-L. Gimme me candle.
Another quality product from the CariMed Group.
Just gimme me candle.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
Flow, we understand your rhythm. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do. And our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing. No matter what.
Love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are ARC Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park are all inclusive.
Ask the experts. If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. Promotion ends September 14. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker, much quicker. And you need to make sure that I'm the coach.
And I'm the assistant coach.
No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated. Matter of fact, where's the water?
I've got it, coach.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank for every future, Kendall, the taste of quality, Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the Social Issues Debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. We now ask Natalie Campbell to start this segment with a question for Team PNP.
Good evening again. If elected, what are the top 3 policy or reforms your government would prioritize during its first few days or weeks in office?
The People's National Party, Damien, will ensure that every decision we make has the people at the center. To start that off, we will, 1, take a look at the health center. The Jamaica Labour Party will have you believe that they're serious about health. Tell that to a mother who've lost her child at the hospital. Tell that to patients who go to the hospital and can't find water in our restrooms. And you're serious about hospitals? You must be joking. The People's National Party will, one, prioritize our health service. The second thing that we will do is to ensure that education, that there's access to education for all our children. We will do this through the provision, Damien, of 1 meal per day for each child. But we'll also make sure that transportation, which is one of the major issues preventing our children from going to school, is dealt with. And when we're talking about transportation, we're not talking about some 10-hour bus. We're talking about transportation that is effective, reliable, and can transport our children in peace, where parents can feel comfortable.
Additionally, Sophia, we will immediately give the First in the Family Scholarship to those persons that are in school currently at the university, as long as they're the first in the family. Also, we will ensure that ownership improves by making sure that squatting communities are reviewed under the POSHA program and open all the home ownership plans to our persons through rent to own.
Thank you so much. JLP, your 45-second rebuttal.
That convoluted response will require a supplementary estimate being tabled in the House of Representatives for a budgetary contemplation. The PNP does not have a structured set of policies ready for Jamaica, which is why they're not ready for government. The Jamaica Labour Party, in its next term, will continue to pursue peace, productivity, and indeed prosperity. Ultimately, the Jamaican people are happy with our suite of achievements. You see, we have cut poverty. We have cut unemployment. We have grown the economy. We have invested in infrastructure. And that is why the Jamaica Labour Party will indeed be returned to government.
Thank you, Mr. Samuda. Romardo has the next question, and it will be directed to Team JLP.
Roughly 10,000 students graduate annually from Jamaica's top 4 universities. Majority are young professionals. They were taught to go to school, get subjects, go to university, and then get a job. Many follow those instructions and end up repaying student loans for years, struggling to save money. With another term, what will you do to ensure in your first year that more educated youth can have a taste of prosperity?
The Jamaica Labour Party believes in our young people, and this is why we've already reduced interest rates at Student Loan Bureau. We've removed the requirement for guarantors, again taking away the barriers. And in our next term, we'll not only institute the new policy wherein students can have access to a loan which covers not only tuition, but accommodation, books, laptops, and food, living expenses. More importantly, of course, as we touch on the issue of debt, we know that our young people sometimes get thrown a curveball by life. That's why the Jamaica Labour Party is not only going to expand the moratorium which already exists, but we will institute the student loan debt reset. Under that policy, we will be waiving for all delinquent accounts 100% of penalties, 100% of insurance charges, and 50% of interest arrears, ensuring a fresh start for those who just have had life take a wrong turn. For those who are in good standing, they'll be rewarded for their responsibility and, of course, encouraged to continue in their good efforts. And they will get a credit to their account of $100,000 per account in good standing. Those who, of course, are at the cusp of closing out their accounts, we will pay up to the amount required to close. This is us not talking, but acting.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kamina Johnson-Smith, PNP, your 45-second rebuttal.
The People's National Party will ensure that our young people not just dream, but have a chance of being the best they can be. So what are we going to do? One, we're going to make sure that there is $1 billion available so that they can get $500,000 towards their deposit. Secondly, what we are going to do is to have what we call a forgiveness, a graduated forgiveness of students' loan. So for every year that you work in the public service, your students' loan payment will be discounted. And we understand that sometimes you leave university and you simply just can't get a job. The present system says you must still pay your students' loan. We are saying no, an end to that.
Thank you so much. We go to social media, who has a question which will be answered first by Team JLP and then Team PNP. A reminder that both teams have the same amount of time to respond to that question. Amoy?
Thanks, Janella. This question comes from Kimmy on Instagram. There's been criticism of the government's 300% wage increase and delayed salary increase to civil servants. If selected to form the next government, how do you plan on making civil servants' salaries equally as attractive?
The Jamaica Labour Party has been responsible for the largest increase to public sector wages in the history of independent Jamaica. Do we want to be able to pay more? Absolutely. And we're committed to ensuring that we work with all stakeholders to ensure fiscal stability, to ensure the health of the economy, so all workers can be paid fairly without destabilizing the economy. We certainly are committed to engaging in fora, including the Partnership for Prosperity, as well as the negotiating mechanisms which are currently at play. We understand the concerns of cost of living, which concern each and every family, and we are committed to always doing our best within the affordability of our economy to do the best by our public servants.
No, so let's forget. When the salaries for parliamentarians were announced, the opposition spokesperson on finance got up and said he had no objection, only to cut off at the knees by the leader of the opposition the next day. It's not the first time the leader of opposition has cut off one of his spokespersons at the knees. He has cut off Senator Crawford at the knees when he proposed an additional 2 hours for schools and an additional tax to fund education. This is a common pattern with them. But the opposition will not roll back parliamentary salaries because they support it.
Thank
and
you
they
so
sat
much,
on the
Mr.
commission to
Samuda.
determine
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuda. Team PNP, your response.
I will answer Mr. Samuda on the platform, but today I'm focusing on the people. Let us look at what happened with our teachers. The government is currently ranked by the Prime Minister and the ministers as the highest in the Caribbean. Our teachers are ranked 6th or 7th in the Caribbean. Under the People's National Party, when we did our restructuring, the teachers were placed at 80% of market. Under the JLP, when they did their restructuring, the teachers are now propped at 50% of market. Additionally, the teachers were bamboozled into believing that their allowances would have been considered. But the JLP removed all the teachers' allowances and gave them a simple raise, in some cases of 12%, while they took 300%. What is evident from how it was handled is that the JLP is not a party of equity. They didn't treat all persons in the same. And as their former Minister of Finance suggested, that if it was to keep the best, they would have to raise their salaries. No wonder we're seeing so many teachers leaving our classroom because of the inefficient treatment from the Jamaica Labour Party. Teachers, nurses and the public sector will know that they have a listening ear and a reasonable negotiator whenever we get into power. And one thing we can guarantee is that we don't believe they're worth zero, as the Jamaica Labour Party has suggested. 0% raise suggests that the teachers are worth nothing. The police are doing a wonderful job, the teachers are doing an excellent job, the nurses are doing a wonderful job, and we will ensure equity in treatment as we treat ourselves.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. We're going to take another question from social media. Amoy?
This one is from Joel. Many Jamaicans are concerned about the limited access to beaches and the costs that apply to them. What measures will you put in place to ensure that Jamaicans have greater access to their beaches?
Team PNP, you get to respond to this question first.
Over the last 9 years, there have been countless situations, Miami Bay Beach, Bob Marley Beach, where Jamaicans have been denied the right of access to beaches. For us in the People's National Party, right access to beach is not an option, it is a right. And because of that, we will ensure that all Jamaicans have access to our beaches. We have done it before. In our last administration, we spent over $12 billion rehabilitating Winifred Beach, Prairie Beach. We've done it already, we're going to do it again. So what are we going to do now? we are going to ensure that the provisions in the Beach Access Act come to life. And where the amendment needs to be made, we're going to do that. What we're going to do as well is going to ensure that we work with all our tourism partners, all our private investors, so they understand that access to beach is a right for all Jamaicans. Thirdly, what we will do is to ensure that we rehabilitate beaches so that persons, when they come to beach, whether they're fishermen or they come for relaxation, that they can do it in dignity. Because for the People's National Party, access to our beaches is not just something you do. It is a matter of justice, and it is a right. And we commit that we will have access to beaches.
Thank you so much. Team JLP, your response?
The people of St. James know that all that was just said is a farce. When the People's National Party took away Cornwall Beach from the people of St. James, they did so without a care in the world. It is this administration that built the Harmony Beach Park over Dump Up Beach to give the people of St. James back beach access. It is this administration that will genuinely renovate the Priory Beach in St. Ann. I'm not sure what was referred to as a renovation because that's a joke. It is this administration that will ensure that the Padgy Beach and indeed the Boston Bay Beach in Portland will be returned to the people of Jamaica. There isn't a Beach Access Act, as was mentioned, but there is the Beach Control Act. This administration will indeed, at the first sitting of the new Parliament, table the beach access policy, which will guarantee windows to the sea being maintained, corridors to the sea being a facet of development approvals, as we have recently done through NEPA with hotel approvals in Trelawney and in the Grill, where there are corridors built by the hotels to facilitate access for citizens. You see, our policy is important, but beach access cannot just be words. It has to be investment in beaches like the Harmony Beach Park. It has to be corridors to the sea, as we have indeed insisted upon through our approval process, through NEPA, in Trelawney, in the Grill, and more to come.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuda. Thank you so much. We will now take a short break and invite you to stay tuned.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just gimme me candle. Anytime of the day, night as well, just gimme me candle. Everybody can tell, taste good, great smell. Just gimme me candle. Number one in flavor, no parallel. Half about quality, you know we excel. Spell it out, K-E-N-D-E-L. Gimme me candle.
Another quality product from the CariMed Group.
Just gimme me candle.
At Flow, we understand your rhythm. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do. And our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
We love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are ARC Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
the Jamaica Debates Commission presents the General Elections Debates in association with Scotiabank for Every Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, Arc Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. See the two major political parties debate national issues live August 26 and 28 at 9 p.m. It's a political must-see. Don't miss the General Elections Debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or all inclusive?
Ask the experts. If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. Promotion ends September 14. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker. Much quicker. And you need to make sure.
Need to.
I'm the coach.
And I'm the assistant coach.
No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated. Matter of fact, where's the water?
I've got it, coach.
The General Elections Debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank for Every Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, Arc Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the social issues debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. We invite Romardo Lyons to start this final segment with a question for Team JLP.
A digital Jamaica where technology is woven into the fabric of business and everyday activities. That's what you promised in your 2020 manifesto. But today, there are residents in Swamp Road, St. Thomas, putting phones in trees to make calls and to get reception. Why are so many Jamaicans in rural parishes still behind technologically?
That's an excellent question. Much progress has been made in respect of digital transformation. The National Broadband Initiative has connected over 700 government institutions across the country and has also been seeking to connect our police stations, or courthouses, or schools, and other institutions as a matter of priority as the base. We've also been seeking to encourage competition in the environment, in this sector, to ensure greater investment and greater rollout of fiber optics, of satellite technology, as well as Wi-Fi internet connections. The Jamaica Labour Party believes in technology facilitating business. It's why we ensure that now you can pay your taxes online, you can apply for your e-motor vehicle registration certificate, and in a new administration we will do even more. We will ensure that there is the task force to ensure efficiency and innovation, not only in the public sector but beyond. We will not only set up the task force, but we will allow a portal for private citizens to make suggestions with incentives and prizes to ensure that they feel a part of the process where they see that systems can be improved. The Jamaica Labour Party has already built efficiencies that have helped this economy to grow, that have helped with youth and regular unemployment, and we will do more.
Thank you so much, Team JLP, Team PNP, your 45-second rebuttal.
First, you keep mentioning about policies to make the economy grow, and after 9 years, you're still growing at under 1% per annum. The question mentioned difficulties of persons in rural Jamaica having access to telecommunications services. perhaps because you said from St. Thomas to Hanover, what is your fundamental problem with Westmoreland and the other parishes why you think that only St. Thomas to Hanover needs quality access to broadband? But you know, the greater tragedy is that you're talking about task force for what you are going to do in the next administration. We are waiting on the task force for why you didn't get it done in the last 9 years.
Thank you so much, Mr. Price. Romardo has indicated that he would like to use one of his follow-up questions. Romardo, just a reminder to both teams, you have 45 seconds to respond. Team JLP, you first. Romardo.
Your government has repeatedly said that education is a priority. Now, the technological issue in the rural parishes aren't just for residents. Schools are also affected. Just this year, a smart lab was opened in St. Aloysius Primary School on Duke Street in Kingston. When will schools in rural parishes start to feel included in this technological push?
They should feel it very soon. As a matter of fact, they'll feel it in this new school year. Procurement is already underway. We not only have had new contracts engaged with contractors to roll out more connections, but we are also investing in equipment, which is already in procurement, to ensure that our labs are equipped in rural schools as well as in urban schools. We believe fundamentally in ensuring that regardless of where you live in Jamaica, you must have access to the best education, and you will have it in the next administration. As a matter of fact, starting in this new school year.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Team PNP, your 45-second rebuttal.
The JLP is certainly an enemy of the truth. Indeed, we have heard them suggest that 200,000 laptops were purchased. That would indicate 2-to-1 ratio, meaning for every 2 children, 1 should have a laptop. I'm asking those watching today, have your child received a laptop? Have you seen anyone receive such a laptop? Indeed, whoever is responsible for purchasing these missing laptops will have to answer under the People's National Party, because we have not seen those laptops. We will ensure that the gadgets are in place, but as we've said before, we build out the last mile that many of the private sector believe is not profitable to build out, so that the persons can get access to internet wherever they are. We will use that technology also for the small schools.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Usage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. Natalie has the next question, and it goes to Team PNP.
We are in the hurricane season, and each season the authorities face a challenge persuading residents to evacuate some areas when the island is under threat. What strategies would you implement to ensure compliance?
Part of the reason why residents don't want to evacuate is that the poor level of communication and education prior to a storm causes them to be caught unaware. Let's take, for example, this instant year, 2025. All across media, we have heard advertisements from the Office of the Prime Minister with sections of budget presentations, and we are midway the Atlantic hurricane season, and not once has ODPEM been given the resources that OPM has for its parallel adjacent political campaign under the guise of public education. The second reason why residents do not want to evacuate is because they are realistically concerned that when they evacuate, the spaces that they are taken to will be substandard. In the next PNP administration, we will build out a series of evacuation centers that will be properly fitted with adequate water for on-site storage, as well as food and access to health, access to other emergency services, so that families feel more safe in bringing their elderly relatives into a space where they are certain that the services and the quality of standard will be there when they evacuate.
Thank you so much. Team JLP, your 45-second rebuttal.
It is clear to us on Team JLP that Raymond is fluent in misdirection, misinformation, and clearly not paying attention to the news of the day. It is the JLP that would have just completed and launched its own Doppler radar. meaning we're no longer depending on foreign sources for our weather forecasting needs. It means this government, the next administration under Andrew Michael Holness, will have accurate information on time and be able to communicate it so to you at home. We're also working with the United Nations CDF program to build modern and safe shelters for you at home so you can trust the information and trust where you're going to go and be safe during the hurricane season.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. We go to Amoy now, who has a question from social media. Amoy?
All right, so this question comes from Tayana on Instagram. She says, Jamaica's hospitals are overcrowded and under-resourced. Can you explain how your party, if elected to government, will fix this without repeating the delays and bottlenecks of past administrations?
Okay, thank you so much, Amoy. Team PNP, you can answer this question first, to be followed by Team JLP.
So this is a social issues debate, and health is a primary social issue. If you look across to the opposite, the campaign chairman from that party, who has been the Minister of Health for 9 years, must have suspected that members of the public would want to drill down, shall I say, into why the health sector is so poorly managed, why your relatives at home, when you go to the hospital, can't get a bed, why you have to take the prescription from the nurse beside your relative's bed and go into the private pharmacy sector to purchase basic medication, why you have relatives sitting in wheelchairs or in the driveways and the parking lots in the cars that you took them to the hospital with and still can't get triage, even basic assessment as to the extent of their suffering. It's no wonder, Dr. Tufton, you're not here today. You have chosen to go and hide behind marketing strategies to support what's her name again? The pro-box, the Minister of Finance and the Public Services. The People's National Party, Matthew, understands health. We are the ones that modernize the hospitals on the budget and in time. Your reference to Chick V is old and dated. Look at your 9 years and speak to those.
Thank you so much, Team PNP. Team JLP, your response to the question?
Thank you, Tiana. It's a really important question because I know that we have not reached every community and we have not reached every hospital yet. But the Jamaica Labour Party is undertaking the most ambitious and, in fact, will be the most effective reconstruction and construction of hospital infrastructure in Jamaica in decades. The Western Child Hospital is under construction, close to completion. The rebuild of Cornwall is also almost completed. We're making sure that we focus also on primary health care, making sure that more health centers are renovated and brought closer to you so you don't actually have to go to the hospital. We're adding more doctors and nurses in those healthcare centers, more equipment so that better care can be had closer to you. We're adding more healthcare centers with expanded hours to allow working people to go to the health center after working hours. These are things that we're doing in addition to more operating theaters which are already programmed for next year, for next term, including a new KPH.
Importantly, we've also increased access to medicines under NHF. And we've increased access for our senior citizens through NI Gold and JDIP. Under the Jamaica Labour Party, we have taken a comprehensive approach to health infrastructure.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. We have another social media question. Why?
This one is from Matthew Williams. With key parts of the Data Protection Act still not in force and several major data breaches reported this year, many Jamaicans feel their personal information is not adequately protected. How will your government address this growing privacy crisis and rebuild public trust in the protection of citizens' data?
Team JLP, you get to answer this one first.
Data protection is critical as we continue to build out more and more digital systems to ensure efficiency and effectiveness in the pursuit of business, growth, and prosperity. And this is why we have been paying attention to ensuring that implementation of the Act is phased and sensitive to the various stakeholders, ensuring that it's effective when each stage is put in place. We have done more to protect your data and will do more. As we recognize that AI is also being used more, we will ensure that there is an AI blueprint and roadmap, which of course is going to be built out of the very first task force on AI in the Caribbean, which was already established under this administration. We'll also ensure that there is new legislation to protect every Jamaican's face, voice and image from the type of misinformation and negative campaigns that are run by parties like the PNP.
The Data Protection Act was indeed passed by the Jamaica Labour Party, and we're proud that it was passed, and we're happy that the Data Commissioner is now in place to speed up implementation. However, data requires data accuracy. It should be known for all Jamaicans watching that it is this government that gave the highest increase to civil servants. It is this government that insisted that there would be no more wage freezes for teachers, as was commonplace under the People's National Party.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Team PNP, your response to the question?
The Jamaica Labour Party does not believe in privacy. It was one of their own ministers that says nothing is private. Do you remember? Because I certainly do. But not only that, when one considers the NIDS Act, the National Identification Act, the People's National Party representing the people of Jamaica had to take the Jamaica Labour Party to court to protect privacy rights. So the Jamaica Labour Party simply cannot come to you tonight to tell you that they're serious about privacy. Simply not true. The People's National Party, we value your privacy. And it is for that reason why we will trade a cadre of data protection experts to work with different sectors so they understand what is in the law, they understand what is to be done, and how they can balance privacy rights. In fact, this also creates a new sector in Jamaica. Damien, don't you agree?
I definitely do agree, Sophia. But also we should remind the public that it was this Prime Minister that suggested that they can track persons who say certain things on social media. It is also this Prime Minister that has proven himself to be highly vindictive, and have seen arrest of individuals who have criticized him in any way at any given time. It is also that government that stole sand from the beaches. So let us talk about what that government has done.
Thank you so much, Team PNP. So, viewers, we're doing things a little different this evening. We now invite Team PNP to ask a question of Team JLP.
In any decent democracy, where a leader has not been certified by the Integrity Commission, where the leader has been a part of Ponzi schemes and benefited from them, where the leader among members of his cabinet or his party are said to be part of an illicit aid for illegal enrichment, those persons could not be on the ballot. Therefore, why should Jamaica be any different from such decent democracies?
The PNP, we understand, has no answer to the plans, the programs and the achievements of the Jamaica Labour Party. They see their only path to Jamaica House by trying to destroy the reputation of the Prime Minister of Jamaica and others. The Jamaica Labour Party has been the party that has done more for the integrity and anti-corruption framework in this country than any other administration. It is under the PNP that every day, every week you woke up to a new scandal, light bulb, Solutria, NSWMA, Manchester Parish Council, Hanover, KSAMC, you name it, Crook and Anchor. It is under the PNP that Jamaica had the lowest scores under the Corruption Perception Index, and it is under the Jamaica Labour Party that Jamaica has had the highest. Why? Because the independent international experts actually look at the facts and not the steady drumbeat of PNP misinformation and weaponization of processes. There is no report that has found any finding of guilt or illegality on the part of the Prime Minister. There is no finding against the Prime Minister, and the PNP needs to stop telling the lie of 28 bank accounts. It is simply not true.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Team PNP, your 45-second rebuttal.
It's odd that you say that's not true. Dennis Chung said that not only were it true, that it's inconsequential, that it's normal, he suggested, just as we now figure out he was rehearsing for the job for which the qualifications were waived so that he could get the job. Most of you look for a job. In that case, the job seemed to have looked for and found him. Now, the other things you say about doing the most for the integrity framework, that includes being the only Prime Minister to have taken the Integrity Commission to court to quash a clause he once bragged that he included as chairman of cabinet. So the lies are on that side, aren't they?
Thank you so much, Team PNP. We now invite Team JLP to ask a question of Team PNP.
You know, lies are an affront to God.
Yeah.
And Reverend Albert would have taught you that.
Shut up.
However, to be clear, the last time the People's National Party was at the wicket, they leveled $60 billion of new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people. They have said that they will fix a tax to imported food items, which economists have said will increase the cost of living to the poor of Jamaica. Damian has said that he will fund education needs with an increase in GCT. The PNP have fixed a tax to parties. What should the Jamaican people expect by way of taxation from the next People's National Party administration 10, 20 years from now?
Can I go ahead?
Team PNP.
Okay, thank
Please
you.
answer the question.
Thank you. Well, the People's National Party had to take on a rebuilding project in the last Portia Simpson Miller administration. Indeed, never before had the IMF stopped sending money to the Jamaica public or to the Jamaican society before, because it was run asunder by a government that included Andrew Holness and also Audley Shaw as the head of the Ministry of Finance. The People's National Party, then, having rebuilt the economy, embarked upon a fiscal policy rules that we implemented to ensure that the country was on the right track. And having put the country on the right track, there's absolutely no need for the People's National Party to engage in further taxations. Indeed, what exists currently as the People's National Party proposals lie greatly within the context of the $360 billion available for governments to decide on what to do. But the $23 billion that we have identified is even less than the overrun for Cornwall Regional. We will therefore not have those overruns. The JLP continue to ask where we'll get the money. We will get the money from the same place that Market Me money came from. We'll get the same money from the same place that paying off Ramsharak from Petrojam came from. We will get the money from the same place that the buying of 200 used cars that we did not receive come from. We will get the money from the same budget that exists for the people.
Thank you so much, Team PNP. Team JLP, your rebuttal.
No doubt you will get this money from the same place that the failed Heroes Circle wall came from. But it is simply inaccurate to suggest that the international community cut off Jamaica. We were able to draw down on loans from the World Bank and the IDB right before we demitted office. But to be clear, it is this government that has cut debt to 62% of GDP. It is this government that has cut poverty rates to its lowest ever. It is this government that has ensured that the unemployment rate has gone to record lows of 3.2%. There is work to do. there is no doubt that there is improvements to be made in sectors. However, this government has the credibility to do it and will do so in the next term.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Ladies and gentlemen, we now go to the closing statements. And based on the earlier coin toss decision, Team JLP will go first. And you can begin your 2 minutes.
My fellow Jamaicans, Jamaica is safer and stronger with the JLP. We reduced murders by 43%, created 250,000 jobs, and we delivered the largest increase in the minimum wage in our history. We gave our doctors, nurses, teachers, police, and other public sector officers the largest pay increase, despite COVID, Hurricane Beryl, droughts, and global uncertainty. And remember, for 8 consecutive years, we did this without any burden of new taxes on you, the Jamaican people. Now we know that prices are rising globally. And that is why we're not just focused on increasing wages, but rather creating better conditions for growth. 33 quarters of growth, save and except for COVID. And still giving support to the most vulnerable. This is the JLP way. We care. Now compare. Under the PMP, wage freezes, heavy taxes, no relief of social pension for Miss Ivy, no relief for the vendor, the taxi operator, the housekeeper, just tax after tax after tax. And we heard Damien and Dayton already talking about taxes. So are you really willing to suffer the indignity of more taxes under the PMP? No way. With the Jamaica Labour Party, increased pension, better agriculture, better health infrastructure, enhanced education. This is our commitment. That's why we say to you, reject the reckless PMP promises. Choose performance. Choose Jamaica. Choose the JLP. The Jamaica Labour Party delivers, and we are committed to doing even more for you. On September 3, remember, put your X beside the bell.
Thank you so much, Team JLP. Team PNP, please go ahead with your closing statements.
One thing you could not have said is spell Jamaica, because we already know you can't. Jamaica has evolved to be one of the world's most recognized brands globally. Yet too many members of the Jamaican family live in standards and conditions that are, simply put, deplorable. On September 3, 2025, we all have an opportunity to put in office a government led by Mark Golding that places the people of the country and every member of the Jamaican family at the center of our policies and programs. In that Jamaica, imagine that you have become unwell and you go to the hospital and there are beds, there are CAT scans, there are MRIs, there is medication and tools to save your lives available right there in the hospital. In that Jamaica, our nurses, teachers, firefighters, and police officers have not just better tools to do their jobs professionally, but also better conditions of work and better salaries with overtime benefits not taxed. In that Jamaica, whether you're up on the corner as a youth, or you're working in a salon as a nail technician or a barber, or a deal with the eyelashes or tattoos, your Jamaica becomes not just the land of your birth, but the land in which your dreams can be achieved within your lifetimes. In the Jamaica led by Mark Golding, more affordable houses will be provided so that mothers and fathers can better care for and protect the members of their own family. On September 3, it's not just about a regular election. It is about creating a Jamaica that you at home can love and be a part of the national success that will be gained. Vote PNP on September 3.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much to both our teams. Now, in the good spirit of the debates, we now invite both teams to shake hands. And as they do so, I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our first debate between Pernell Charles Jr. of the JLP, Kamina Johnson-Smith, and Matthew Samuda for Team JLP, and Damian Crawford, Sophia Fraser-Binns, and Raymond Price for the People's National Party. Join us again Tuesday, August 26 at 9 p.m. for the debate focusing on the economy, which for the first time will be a team debate between Team JLP and Team PNP. Audience, you can clap now. For joining us, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to our production and funding partners, and most of all, our viewers and listeners all across Jamaica and the diaspora. I'm Janella Precious. Good night.
It was fierce, it was intriguing. Will Jamaicans now choose Jamaica by going with the JLP, or did time come for Jamaicans to choose the PNP? Well, my analysts here in the CVM studios will now dissect this debate. We'll go through it step by step, and we will be giving our own analysis as well. And each of them will select a winner from night one, debate one on social issues. I'm Giovanni Dennis, I'm Giovanni Dennis, and I'm your host, and we will be going through for the next half an hour the issues coming out of this debate. I just want to start with you, firstly, Matthew Hyde from the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment. Your assessment, your overall assessment of the debate.
Just to correct you really quick, Matthew White, I don't want the association with Matthew Hyde there.
No, my apologies.
I will say, first off, I am really irate at some of the things that both parties said, specifically in reference to the BPO sector. I am really irate about what both parties said, specifically in relation to beach access. But I needed to open with that because of how upset I am. Apart from that, I think what we saw from both parties was the opportunity for them to expand on what their campaign platforms have been. For the PNP, that was, as I said at the beginning, a massive social platform. And for the JLP, kind of proving that what has worked before for this past 9 years will work for another term. And we'll get into later about how effective either party was at doing that.
Was the debate engaging enough for you, Sunil?
It was, whether it was engaging enough, it was engaging, but I'd say that the debate had a lot of preludes to the responses that I think could have been much more, could have been shorter. I felt like the responses needed to be much more direct. And if that were done, I would have been more pleased in terms of that question. But there was just too much fluff, I think, in a lot of the responses from both sides.
Did it resonate with you, Christoph Simpson? The debate overall?
The debate overall, on some things where they touched on specifics, I would say, okay, yes, they're talking a good talk. As to whether they would actually do the things they're committed to do, solving the problems they're committed to solving. I don't know how much confidence I have in that. A lot of it, though, did include, as Sunil said, there was a lot of fluff, there are a lot of jabs talking about who did this, who did that. I still don't get a clear sense of what to expect from the parties going forward, outside of some specific things, but generally, we didn't get any proper, as Matthew said, we didn't get any proper answers on the question on the BPO sector and what labor relations would look like under either party.
Corv da Costa.
In terms of?
Your overall thoughts on the debate first.
I thought it was an excellent debate in terms of covering social issues. I thought the journalists were prepared or covered the ground in terms of the different issues. I thought the teams represented their political parties well. I think one was more prepared and the other struggled to really enter the race.
You preempted my next question there in terms of the journalists being prepared. What did you think of the questions throughout the debate? Sticking with you, Corv da Costa.
I loved the interaction of the journalists on the panel, plus the social media interaction. I thought bringing people in Jamaica into the space was very critical to democracy, but also played out in a very good way. The questions that came from social media were spot on, and I feel that's what people in the streets are really concerned about. I feel the questions couldn't have been better. I feel the responses needed a little bit more substance and meat sometimes, but I feel the journalists represented themselves well.
So we had issues of health, housing, transportation, human rights, salary, beach access, technological access, data protection. All those issues were raised throughout several questions. There was a new part to the debate, Matthew, about allowing each team to ask each other a question. What do you think of the inclusion of that unprecedented move by the Jamaica Debates Commission?
It was a very good move. And if I can be specific and a little bit curt for you here, I can say it worked for the PNP. It did not work for the JLP. The question that the JLP asked was answered very simply by saying no new taxes. There's absolutely nothing the Labour Party could have done to force the PNP to say, I'm going to implement new taxes. And as a matter of fact, they did not. And in the closing statement, Charles Jr., President Charles Jr. would have mentioned that they said there's going to be new taxes. No, they did not. No, they did not. And for the PNP, it proved to them once again, or the platform that they've been standing on for a long time, which is that the government can never give a sober response to questions. And this is not an indictment on the government or saying that there's conclusive wrongdoing. It is just that always, when questions are asked of the government, the response is never sober. And it causes unsurety, it causes persons to worry. And that was just broadcasted on a national stage.
That new element for you, Christoph, did it work? Allowing the teams to ask each other questions at the end?
I mean, I think it is a good inclusion. What I had been saying earlier in the pre-debate show was that the value that we get from the debates rather than the manifestos, because you can read the manifestos, or the JLP has released something before the manifesto, which is a track record of what they're claiming to be their achievements. Those are substantive documents. So if you come to a platform, you can easily just preach from what you have prepared already. But the point of the debate is that you have two things. You have questions you may not be prepared for, and then you have the other party intervening or rebutting while you're trying to deliver your point. So the partner with each side asking the other a question adds to that element, the value of a debate that separates it from just having a party telling you what it wanted to hear.
So here we go then into some individual assessments. Starting with you, Sunil, what did you make of each of the debaters in terms of their performances individually?
think that on the opposition side, I think that the team members had more synergy. I think that they were more prepared. I think that Mr. Crawford, as I predicted, would have had a good mix of drama and...
Just to be clear, as you predicted to yourself, because you didn't call any names before.
Yes. You had asked, but I was referring him.
She said she was going to say who.
Right? I think he had a good balance of what the debate needed, because it does need that, right? In terms of the drama. I think it does need the jabs, the appropriate jabs that he made. I think Raymond Crawford also... Raymond Price also had a good balance of that, and he had very direct, appropriate questions. I think that his rebuttals were also very appropriate. And I think Senator Binns was a good balance of both of what Damian and Raymond brought. I think that on the government side, that I sense a little bit of uneasiness from all three of them. I sense that they weren't as prepared to answer some of the questions that were asked. I think possibly that they would have needed a little bit more preparation in terms of whether the last part that was, the new part that was added. I think it's a good idea. I think what it does is to help...
You haven't answered both the individuals when you gave individual assessments for the PNP. I want an individual assessment for the JLP as well.
I think Matthew Samuda, I would just sum all of them up as the same. I think that they all needed to be much more prepared. And I think the preparation kind of impacted the confidence that they exuded through the screen in terms of what their responses were. I don't think they were confident in some of their responses, and I think that they gave a lot of broad brush responses. All three of them, I would sum them up all the same.
Corv da Costa, individual assessment from you?
I feel on the JLP side, I think tonight they really struggled to communicate what they are prepared to do for the next term if they win at the poll. And I think because their manifesto was late, I don't think their party is used to talking about the future. And so they reference the 9 years and what happened in the past, but elections are about the future. And I think Pernell Charles struggled tonight. I think his best moment came in the closing statement that was convincing enough. I don't know if people will believe it. I think I was almost disappointed with Kamina tonight. I think she's always sharp. I think she struggled with some of the responses tonight, and I feel Samuda held their team together for the most part when he was responding. I think for the PNP, it was a relay in some ways. They were referencing each other's names. There was a little bit of synergy, more chemistry, more teamwork. It's a team debate, and I think Team PNP represented the team effort in responding to the questions. I thought Damian, in the pre-show, I said if Damian stuck to the substance, and he did stick to the substance. He alluded to commenting on the platform, but he will have that moment. I feel Raymond had those jabs, and I think his role on the team was to have those jabs. And in the earliest response coming off of Charles Jr., he initially just blew Charles out the water. And I feel Senator Fraser Binns, I feel she was the best debater for Team PNP, because every time she responded to a question, I put my marketing hat on. I feel she was speaking directly to an audience who was approachable, who's maybe listening to this or watching this in a rum bar or somewhere. I feel the common man understood, especially the beach access. 10 out of 10 on that response.
Yeah, Corv mentioned the jabs, Matthew. We saw jabs from both sides. What did you make of that in the debate to bring it to life, Boris Sinil's words?
I thought the jabs at certain points in time really didn't do much for the person making them.
Specific examples.
I'll make the example firstly of Matthew Samuda. When the 300% increase was mentioned as a question, instead of answering the question, The only thing the JLP could have done was to restructure it and talk about how the opposition didn't give good enough opposition to it and talk about their party leader, etc., etc. And then there were many, many times where either Damian Crawford or Raymond Price would begin their answer with a jab at the JLP, and it didn't give them much substance. I'm not really upset at those instances, but in terms of getting to efficient answers quickly, it really delayed that. Yeah. But I think Christoph might have something more to say on that.
All right, for you, Christoph, what was the high point of this debate?
I don't know if I can identify one particular high point. I think
high points. Yeah.
High points. Well, even then, there's difficulty because one, to pay attention to even the beach access. They're making contradicting claims. So the PNP says something, JLP says, oh, well, that's not true. And this came up more than once. So they make contradicting claims. Where do we stand in being able to verify who is telling the truth? And are people, general public, are they going to be able to find this information easily, or will they lean to one side or another based on who they trust more? That was a challenge in following some parts of this. The beach access is where I remember it being like at the forefront, and then the other thing in the end about the no new taxes, that's another point that they make contradicting claims in sense of JLP saying, well, the PNP is saying they wanted the new taxes, and PNP is denying that in a way. I think it made things a little confusing. It made things a little confusing to follow because they're outright contradicting each other and saying what happened or what didn't happen.
For you, Cindy, what was the low point in the debate? A low point for you?
I think the low point in the debate for me was around the question of corruption and regarding the Prime Minister. I think that it is so unproductive and uninspiring that whenever the question of corruption is raised, the answer is always premised on the other side do it or the other side have done it too, and not what our approach is to mitigate corruption. It's never that. Yeah. That was the lowest point for me.
Christoph, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I want to talk about the low point for me, because I did identify a low point while struggling to identify a high point. It was the question on the BPO and working conditions. I wasn't satisfied by other parties' response. I think they were less concerned with working conditions and more concerned with appeasing the BPO sector itself.
I see Matthew shaking his head, and I also see Corv shaking his head. It means they both agree that that was the low point. Well, when we come back, we want to hear who were the best debaters, who were the worst debaters, and which team won. Stick and stay with us here on CVM TV. It's our post-debate analysis of the first of 3 national debates on social issues. We'll be right back.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Reliable water where you live. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for you. We've improved the water supply for over 350,000 people, bringing reliable water to rural areas. We distributed 13,000 water tanks and cut water waste in major towns. We're not just getting water running, we're getting Jamaica running better than ever. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, Singer, and IslandNet Services.
And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. Can't wait for the final.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
This is your country. You deserve to own a piece of it. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for you. We've issued over 67,000 mortgages, delivered over 23,000 land titles, and built over 35,000 new homes. We launched new housing programs and reduced NHT rates to record lows. So vote JLP. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The question of who was the best debater, who was the worst debater from the first debate is what we'll be going to momentarily. But first, 3 of my 4 panelists said that the BPO question, or the answer to the BPO question, was for them a low point in the debate, the lowest point perhaps. Let's replay that question and the answers, and then we'll get some comments on that.
In 2022, the Jamaica Observer exposed the harsh exploitative conditions under which many call center workers work. If elected, what will you do to fix these issues that contradict labor laws in the BPO sector?
You know, the start of that question is an acknowledgement that the provision of modern access to technology, including the internet, including broadband, including fiber optics, began with the liberalization of the telecommunications sector when Philip Powell was a minister with responsibility. My opponents opposite seem to be having an issue putting the correct time frame to the responses. In other words, a seeming disconnect with reality. With respect to the BPO sector, one of the most recent industries facilitated by the technological advancement, there are serious concerns with respect to conditions of work, pay, time off, even sick leave, things that the Jamaican workplace has considered for many years to be a right. These BPO operators, the contractors, are not necessarily from the Jamaican space. So more integration has to be done so that they understand what our labor laws are and what the members of the Jamaican workforce have come to expect, including things such as maternity leave with pay and equal work for women. In the PNP administration led by Mark Golding, we will begin that education process, that integration process, and allow our partners in the BPO to understand.
Thank you so much.
The BPO sector, like the tourism sector, is offering a significant opportunity for many of our entry-level youngsters to have good jobs that will allow them to be able to get not just revenue but work experience. And it's important to know that the government not only sees the expansion in the BPO sector, but through the inspectorate at the Ministry of Labour, we ensure to speak to employers and employees and to monitor, to make sure that where there are any abuses, we take the necessary steps immediately, whether it is to carry them to court or whether it is to bring to constructive social dialogue.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Matthew White, you were outraged during the debate when we were inside here watching together. What was wrong with the responses for you?
I'll begin with the People's National Party because their platform is social. Yes? First of all, it is indefensible for Mr. Price to have begun with a victory lap on the last question. This is a very important issue for him to be taking time to talk about something else. Secondly, as a party that claims to be doing or wanting to do better for people, how could you admit that these are human rights abuses? How could you admit that these people are being exploited, being paid dirt low wages, and you're going to say the response to that is to have re-education and to collaborate with them? That's not a response to human rights abuses. How can you as a party on the JLP side talk about wanting to do more for the people and your response to human rights abuses is to have a constructive social dialogue? That's outrageous. No, that's indefensible, Giovanni, at a base level. I was only more incensed by the idea that the mass industrialization of hotels is going to come with also beach access and persons having windows to the sea. As Matthew Simuda said, I have no clue what that means. I'm from Trelawney, and that idea about citizens having access to the beaches in the midst of this privatization and development is ridiculous.
Prof. DaCosta, do you agree?
I think for me, this particular question just asks for two things. It asks for the debater to exert some amount of leadership or understanding of the issues and how they will move government resources to protect workers in this sector. And I don't think they, on both sides, really communicated strong leadership and how they would protect the rights of the Jamaican worker.
Is there anything inherently wrong, though, with taking a jab at your opponents from a question before because you didn't get a chance to do it before? So take that jab before answering the question. Matthew seems to be incensed because Raymond did that. Is there something inherently wrong with that for you, Christoph?
I don't think it's appropriate. I think it takes away. Remember that they have the time management for a reason. I want to point out something with Kamina Johnson-Smith, for example. There was a question on healthcare, and she wanted to say something, and the time for that ended. When the question for healthcare came back around way later down in the debate, that is when she got her chance in. She never inserted her response to that into some other topic. But I don't think that's what Matthew is talking about, no, because when Raymond Price was doing his victory lap, in Matthew's words, on the BPO question, it wasn't in relation to something else, you know. What upset me is that it was relation to the BPO sector itself. He was talking about how basically the tech access, and remember both parties are pushing this as this tech access thing, can be credited. Basically, why BPO things are common now, that can be credited to liberalization policies under the PNP. So you're taking credit for our reliance on this thing as a source of providing jobs. I don't know if that's compatible with promoting workers' rights when we know that the BPO sector in general across the world, that's how they operate. They research which countries have the most exploitable working conditions, and then they go into those countries. It's a tricky issue to address, the BPO sector and regulating it, because the minute you start to over-regulate it, they'll just jump to a new market. But I think it's silly to suggest that the problem is that they don't know the labor laws in Jamaica. They know it and they know how to get around it. When you're talking about maternity leave and stuff like that, they know that there are certain things they don't really have to give to contractors. They only give those to employees. And the workers for BPO sectors are not really treated as employees. They're treated as contractors. That's what we need to talk about. Turning contract workers into actual employees in situations where they're working at times as employees. We have to talk about providing better jobs than just BPO and tourism. So when the next part now is when the JLP's response is crediting the BPO sector and tourism for the provision of jobs without talking about quality of jobs and without looking at developing the economy, a proper vision of the economy and the future, where those are not the type of jobs that people have to rely on. Upskilling the workforce in general and stuff like that. Like, we need to move away from relying on BPOs and tourism. And that's not what we're hearing. We're hearing as if they have some strong ties to these sectors and their loyalty is more to these sectors than the workers. That was my take on it, at least, and people in lands feel similarly.
Having heard all of that, Sunil, and everything leading up to now, for the overall debate, who for you was the best debater and who was the worst?
On the PNP side, I think Raymond and Damian were really good. So
overall, best debater overall?
Overall, I would say Raymond.
Raymond.
It's very close between Damian and Raymond. I'd give it just a slim edge to Raymond.
Worst?
Worst, for me, was Pernell Charles Jr.
For you, Christoph?
I would actually, the best, and it would surprise a lot of people that I'll say this, is Kamina Johnson-Smith. The worst tonight for me was Raymond Price.
The best debater tonight for me was Raymond Price, and just for the closing element of it, the storytelling he gave, I thought the voters who he was speaking to would be agreeing with his final comments. I think the worst debater tonight has to be Pernell Charles Jr. Yeah.
I agree with Christoph on Kamina Johnson-Smith being the best debater, and I identify Matthew Semoda as the worst one.
So for you, Kamina, best debater, and worst debater for you is?
Matthew Semoda.
Explain.
Boy, I really was upset about the comment about Trelawney and the beaches, and everybody on the North Coast should. Everybody in a parish that has a notable coastline should be upset about that.
So he's the worst debater because of one answer.
Not that, but his pattern of noting opposition failures at inopportune times. When he was asked about the 300% increase done by his government and to give response to that, he found that as the best time to mention opposition critique. When we're talking about beach access and the fact that plainly the government has failed to protect the environment in a solid way, instead of actually critiquing what Ms. Fraser-Binns had to say and her policies, he had to talk about what opposition previously did. Those are really bad times to talk about opposition failures instead of addressing what the government should have been doing.
Okay. So before we go into speaking about who won and who lost, let's go by the rubric from the Jamaica Debates Commission. And let's start by going to the issues. Content, were your personal issues addressed? Starting with you, Matthew.
Well, you know, the three most important issues I had were constitutional and legal reform, housing and education. Legal reform wasn't touched with a long stick in this debate. I don't think either party wanted to have done that. I think we did hear about housing and education, though.
On each side, speak about how each side, were your issues addressed on each side, by the PNP, by the JLP?
I think education is sort of an anomaly for both parties. I don't think either party has a really comprehensive education plan. Hearing their plans for education, you don't think they have a clear...
Okay. Who won the debate for you?
Overall? This is really tight, but I think it is the PNP for this reason. I think the JLP did not take out enough time to build out their plan for the future. You can tell that this is the exact point on the campaign trail that the 9 years having been so good doesn't work anymore. And the fact that they didn't have a manifesto really showed in this debate tonight.
Corv da Costa.
Best
winner.
The winner is clearly the PNP, and I believe it's the PNP because they've used the time in opposition to create, in their eyes, a clear vision for the future, and I don't think the government came tonight with what where they wanted to take us. I didn't see that, and I think the PNP had a clear vision. On most of the issues, from transportation right back to beach access, I think those are the issues they're talking about on the campaign trail.
Christoph?
Can't identify one, to be honest. Was disappointed by both, and even if I go by the issues that I care about, I could say what I heard and what I didn't hear from each party on each issue.
So no winner for it, it's a draw?
Yeah, it was not a case of both winning, it's a case of both losing, but yes, it would be that.
Not even the case of choosing the worst of two, the best of two evils?
No, I've never been a fan of doing that, you know, even in elections and talking about voting and that,
so
choosing the lesser of two evils.
You could not identify a clear winner from this debate?
No, because, and I mean, if you don't know, I can go by the actual issues and what I was looking out for.
Sorry, because I'm out of time. For you, Sunil?
For me, very quickly, it was the PNP. I think that they were more prepared, they looked more synergized, they had more direct responses to questions that were asked, and I think that their responses gave me more clarity than the JLP's team.
All right, so that's all the time we have for our post-debate analysis. From my count, 3 of my guests say the PNP won. One of my guests, Christoph, said that both of them lost. I've never heard that response yet to a debate. But that's all the time we have. Of course, tomorrow you can catch all the recap in CVM's News at 7 to this, the first of the 3 national debates. Of course, the second debate on the economy will be on Tuesday, and that for the first time will be a team debate, and then the leadership debate on Thursday between Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness will be going up against the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding. Of course, I will be one of the questioners from CVM television for that debate, so you do not want to miss it. And of course, we will have live coverage of all the debates, and our pre-show on Tuesday and Thursday will begin at 8:30. So stick and stay to CVM TV for your coverage of Decision 2025, the general election this year. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Well, good.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, social issues in focus for first of 3 general election 2025 debates. JLP manifesto to be released at mass rally Sunday, and PNP promises more ethical governance should the party win the election. While in sports, 2025-26 Jamaica Premier League season kicks off on Sunday. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Saturday, August 23, 2025. I'm Caroline Brown. Thanks so much for joining us for what will be a shortened newscast, so we can bring you a live panel discussion at 7:30 ahead of the first of 3 general election 2025 debates. Well, ahead of the highly anticipated national debates, one young expert, Ronaldinho McLean, shares key insights with those preparing to step onto the big stage. Our reporter is Akeem Oret.
With the 2025 election debates just hours away, member of the Jamaican Association for Debate and Empowerment, Ronaldinho McLean, says success on the stage comes down to more than just knowing your talking points. He explained what makes an effective political debate performance.
Clear clashes and clear communication. So when I say clear clashes, I mean that there are direct substantive disagreements between two sides, so we can understand that both sides are taking different positions on different issues and that they're engaging still with the other team's point of view.
But McLean warns there are common mistakes candidates often make, mistakes he believes can be avoided with the right preparation.
Language is really important. The words you use, the way you communicate your ideas is key, it's crucial. And so they're going to have to understand that they're speaking to different people, they're speaking to a national audience, they're speaking to a TV audience, and they're going to have to cater to those different levels of understanding, familiarity with politics, levels of education, and present the information to the widest possible audience.
And with the pressure of a national audience, McLean leaves the contenders with one golden rule.
Don't speak unless you know exactly what you're talking about.
The first of 3 debates will be at the Creative Production and Training Center, CPTC, on Saturday, August 23 at 9 p.m. Akeem Aret, CVM News.
And still on politics, the Jamaica Labour Party confirmed during a media briefing its long-awaited manifesto will be unveiled tomorrow, Sunday, August 24, during a mass rally in St. James. Akeem Orrit also has that story.
It's the document many Jamaicans have been waiting for, the JLP's manifesto outlining the party's visions and plans for the country. Manifesto and Achievement Committee Chairman Kamina Johnson-Smith made the official announcement.
That I Choose Jamaica, the next chapter, will be launched for the first time out of Kingston. No manifesto has ever been launched outside of Kingston, nor has one ever been launched at a mass rally, and it will be launched at Sam Sharp Square at our mass rally on Sunday the 24th at 4 p.m.
According to the JLP manifesto chairman, the decision to unveil the manifesto carries deeper meaning, pointing to the value the JLP places on the people of Jamaica. Johnson-Smith says the party feels confident about what it has prepared.
We feel confident that we have a robust document and an exciting set of plans to put to the people of Jamaica for them to now consider the next chapter of our I Choose Jamaica story, and that they will therefore have the best opportunity to engage, to be informed, to think about, especially those persons who haven't decided yet if they're going to vote, or if they're going to vote, who they're going to vote for. We want to give them as much information as possible so that they take the best information as possible.
Akeem Orrit, CVM News.
In the meantime, the PNP claims the JLP has little or no regard for the nation by releasing its manifesto to party supporters instead of an expected and neutral setting. The PNP is of the view this should send a clear message to the electorate. The government is perhaps pandering to its party base instead of to the country. For the PNP, this is yet another example the government is not treating the citizens of the country with the respect they deserve.
And the officials in the PNP are of the view that the JLP cannot be taken seriously and are strategic in distracting the country by releasing the manifesto at a rally instead of at an official setting where proper examination and assessment can be done of the document. Another key decision not sitting well with them, the late date in presenting the document to the public.
The problem the Jamaica Labour Party has with a manifesto being released in the day and to the full public is emblematic of the fact that for the 9 years they've been in office, the 9 consecutive years, what they should be speaking about are manifestations. The absence of manifestations that positively inure to the country's development.
Already releasing and distributing an achievement booklet. The PNP, on the other hand, claims the JLP wanted to buy more time to release their manifesto. An indication they believe shows they are void of plans, claiming the government has not delivered on previous election commitments. The JLP has accused the PNP of using artificial intelligence and plagiarism in their manifesto. The PNP of the view that it's a plus to their party that the JLP is majoring in the minors and are unable to raise issue or points regarding.
Well, I can refute the suggestion that we've cut and paste, because we certainly have not cut from Tufton's record any intention, as we drill down to the details, to inflate at $31 million to the public purse an item, a tool that cost less than $2 million. We have no intention to, nor have we cut and pasted the continuous assessments of what the cost to renovate Cornwall Regional Hospital would be and the timeline to do so, and to have missed all of them.
The actual substance contained in their already submitted manifesto. The PNP's manifesto, dubbed Mission Jamaica Love, a people's pledge to country, released on August 12. The JLP manifesto titled, I Choose Jamaica, the next chapter. Whether an early or late release of plans and promises by the JLP, the PNP is convinced either way that their proposals and intentions are good and solid for the people.
We use this opportunity to remind the Jamaica Labour Party that Jamaica continues to be a country that honors our democratic traditions, There are two main political parties in this race, and the People's National Party not only intends to campaign robustly and lawfully. At the end of the campaign, we intend to be declared the victors in a majority of constituencies, and that will herald in the start of the Mark Golding administration.
For CVM News, I'm Damon Phillips.
A tourism destination and better infrastructure are some of the promises the Jamaica Labour Party has for the town of Lucy in Hanover. Party leader Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was in the parish Friday, telling an excited crowd plans for the parish if the party remains as the next government.
A tourism destination in the making is how Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness described the town of Lucy, Hanover. The Prime Minister, while speaking to hundreds of supporters decked in green, says he not only understands the frustration of the people, but more importantly, the importance of a thriving economy to deliver on the promises made.
So there is no doubt that the economy is growing. And from the growing economy, we are going to use those resources on towns like Lucy, in parishes like Hanover, as we have done in St. Thomas.
And so a promise to develop Hanover to rival what has been done in St. Thomas if the government forms the next term has been made. This development will exclusively focus on improving the infrastructure of the parish and others as well. The Prime Minister says once road work is completed in St. James,
as soon as that road is completed, we will begin work on a new roadway into Hanover, which will move the road from off the coast, where it is a threat, and inland. That road will also have a bypass around this town. But we are not going to leave the town. We are going to create new lands in proximity to the town so that the town can expand. We are going to invest in this town and turn it into a tourism destination in and of itself.
Dr. Holness points out that if given the opportunity to form the next government, Lucy will no longer be the town that tourists pass through to get to Negril in Westmoreland, but will itself be a tourist destination. He urged the gathering to select a government that can make things happen.
The government that has cut the debt is this government. Cut it in half. The government that has cut crime is this government. The government that has cut unemployment is this government. The government that has cut taxes is this government. The government that has cut inflation is this government. The government that has cut poverty is this government. The government that has been the most roads in the last 40 years is this government. We are doing much, but there is still much more to be done.
Marjorie Gordon, CVM News.
The leader of the People's National Party, Mark Golding, says the party's focus remains on issues of integrity in governance, insisting higher standards will be a hallmark of its administration if elected. More from Druselle Mills.
The People's National Party, PNP, is sharpening its campaign around a strong anti-corruption message as it seeks to lead the country. Opposition leader Mark Golding, alongside Eastern Hanover candidate Andrea Perkis and Western Hanover candidate Heather Miller-Bennett, urged voters to back the PNP as the party best positioned to restore integrity in governance. They argued that a PNP administration would provide honest leadership and a fresh start for Jamaicans.
We have to get rid of this government. And so hot and cold, talking to you today. See what is happening. This government are giving you 3 reasons why they need to get rid of this government. The chaos what they have created in our democratic system, the cost of living that they have created. We can't buy certain things. You know, I know, and I want you to remember. And I want you to remember the level of corruption in all the sectors. Remember in the education sector, the new Chibon, out of maritime. I want you to remember the corruption in the transport. I want you to remember the corruption in moving ahead with the drill, and it goes on. So Hatton Court, remember when September 3 to put your ex beside it.
Miller Bennett also encouraged her supporters to keep the peace. Mark Golden elaborated on his party's mission to build trust with the citizens of Jamaica.
We are going to bring decency and integrity to public life in this country. We're going to eliminate the corruption which has the people of Jamaica having very little trust and confidence in the leaders, because we believe that it is vital for the country to move forward that the people must trust their leaders.
Perkist stressed that the upcoming election must be taken seriously, describing it as a movement to vote for accountability.
The money politics will not work this time. We will not go back to the days. We will not go back to the days of slavery when we were bought.
Druselle Mills reporting for CVM News.
Stay with us. CVM News at 7 continues in a moment.
Are you ready for something mega? Mega Mart's giving away a brand new 2025 Hyundai Tucson. Second prize, a mega shopping spree. Third prize, 30,000 monthly shopping spree. Okay, break it down for them.
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Fill out the entry form on your receipt. Drop it in the box. That's it.
Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May, June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
From first steps on campus to graduation day, we've been with you through every chapter. Introducing the new face of the Students Loan Bureau, a fresh identity designed for your future. The bold step forward with a fresh look for a future-focused mission, still rooted in trust, service, and possibility, while continuing to uphold our core values of integrity, accountability, respect, teamwork, excellence, and customer focus. It reflects who we are today, modern, resilient, and evolving with the people we serve. This isn't just a new logo, it's a renewed commitment. The Students Loan Bureau, building bridges, transforming dreams.
We welcome you back with a quick look at what's happening elsewhere in the world.
We begin with news in the region. Days after the Ghana Elections Commission GCOM announced a comprehensive ban on the use of cell phones inside polling stations. Images of marked ballots cast by members of the discipline services during Friday's early voting surfaced on social media. The photos, shared just hours after polls opened, have triggered sharp criticism from opposition parties. HDP TV News with that report.
Leader of a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, Aubrey Norton, on Friday, described this as a violation of the law, noting that there have already been instances where persons photographed their ballots.
Because once you have the box like that, people could still find other means of doing irregularities. And as we pursue free and fair elections, we want to see this done properly.
Norton added that he has instructed his agents not to encourage any voting if they cannot clearly observe the individual entering the polling booth.
We have to scrutinize these elections and ensure that we keep them in check. We're not going to be able to deal with everyone, but we're going to stop the widespread rigging.
Meanwhile, Alliance for Change AFC Chairman David Patterson also raised alarm during a press conference on Friday. While members of the discipline services cast their votes, he highlighted that, despite GCOM's ban, persons were still posting photographs of their ballots from inside the booth.
So obviously,
the GCOM will have to tighten up on that regulation.
Ronaldo Adams continues with sports in just a moment.
We're here to tell you about the never-before-seen competition airing on Lewis Industrial's YouTube channel.
That's right, that's LIG's Master Mechanic Competition, where 6 teams will compete for a cash prize of 500,000 Jamaican dollars and the title of LIG's Master Mechanic. Subscribe to Lewis Industrial on YouTube and catch each episode every Saturday at 8 p.m.
The first episode drops in August.
So don't try to miss it, you hear?
Get tiles and get creative with your floors, walls, and all the spaces in between. Our knowledgeable sales consultants are happy to help create your beautiful finish with the latest designs in first quality porcelain, wood look, vinyl, mosaics, natural stones, and countertops. At Creative, you will get every tile you need for your residential or commercial projects. Creative Building Finishes, your one-stop shop for everything tiles. Visit our showroom at 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get creative.
Ashman's Equipment, the new name in forklift sales and rentals in Jamaica. Top quality, low prices, fleet discounts available, 12-month warranty, free service parts, daily rentals, crazy cheap. Ashman's Equipment, same forklift, better deals.
Good evening and welcome to Sports. I am Ronaldo Adams. 2023 Women's Caribbean Volleyball Champions Jamaica swept Guadeloupe 3-0, while their male counterparts had a 3-1 win over former champions Suriname as both teams copped bronze at the 2025 championships in Nassau, Bahamas. The Jamaican men had to fight harder for their medal after surrendering multiple match points in the third set. They would go on to win, however, 25-23, 33-31, 29-31, and 29-20.